Hello, this is the Harboring Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. As I do in the beginning of each episode of my podcast, I mention social media and audio platforms. And to add on, I'm on Substack, and I write on Substack as a supplement to my podcast. And also, for free, please give me a rating. It would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate all you listeners out there, and I would really enjoy the feedback. Thank you so much. So, audio platforms, I'm on Audible, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify for podcasters, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Pandora, and I'm looking to grow to wherever you enjoy your podcast. I am definitely on that. So this episode is about the origins of the choir. I'm going to give my thoughts on it and everything else. All right, so let's get into it. So, choirs, the reasons behind it. My thoughts on that. As the thoughts and examples that I've given in the past about music, this really relates to it. It's really powerful with what music can do, to say things that sometimes can't be said through speaking, through writing, through lecture, through media. It moves and to the point of certain emotions that I think other things and other mediums can't. And it's just very interesting when we get into religion, how saying and expressing how you feel about your faith and through song can help people understand your perspective about religion, and in itself, if they want to, and to want to hear the message can move them and change their mind about things. All right, so let's get into it. Choirs. Okay. The ordinary of the masses, consisting of the Kyrie, Gloria, Credo, Sanctus, and Benedictus, Agnus Dei, and in some medieval masses also, has been a focal point of choral music for more than 600 years. The earliest masses, such as the 4-part setting by the 14th century French composer Guillaume de Machaut, were intended for soloists. So, it's remarkable, both in musical texture and structure. They are often performed chorally today. In the 15th century, this tradition, in which architectonic considerations still held sway, it was carried on in the masses of the English composer John Dunstable and his Burgundian contemporary Guillaume Dufay. Okay, so the use of a planchet or cantus firmus or a dominating tenor theme knitted together the movements, even though they were separated during the liturgy. Modern concert performers and recordings obscure this feature, sometimes to the disadvantage of even the greatest masterpieces, which, with all movements in immediate sequence, may sound too concentrated. The Renaissance saw the highest development of the Cantus Firmus Mass, using as the central methodic support. Hundreds of composers wrote settings of the ordinary of the masses at the time. Some, like the Italian composer Giovanni di Palestrina, I believe, wrote more than 100 masses. And so on and so forth with the everything else with that, and on to talking about the other side of this, doing other points of views about choir, song, and everything else. So, and all of this information will be linked in this episode. So, on the other hand, in the Netherlands, I believe the pronunciation, Orlandio di Lasso and Philippe de Monti did not hesitate to draw upon themes of diverse origin. Byrd and his Flemish contemporary Henrik Isaac also set a considerable amount of the proper of the masses, that part of the liturgy, to change according to the feast, but such settings remain very rare. The parody mass found many advocates. Okay, so with the shorter one, to add on to what I was saying, such as a mote or a hymn, and by beginning with familiar and recognizable material to process gradually into the independence of it. This particular technique may have owed as much to the convenience as to a desire to pay homage to another composer. And to go on to say, the 16th and 17th century Venetian school, especially Giovanni Gabrielli and Claudio Mortaviti, added an instrumental element to the basically choral foundation of the masses. They also occasionally employed two or more choirs to create massive effects as well. Further development of the orchestral mass occurred in the 17th century. And on to say, in the 18th century, early masses notably leaned towards Italian models. Okay, so then, and wrap things up, outstanding among the 20th century masses are those of the English composers Ralph Vaughan Williams and Czech composer Leos Janáček. Forgive me for the pronunciation of that. And the Russo-American composer Igor Stravinsky, who is said to have derived his inspiration from Mozart, although some of the effects created by the mixed chorus and wind instruments are more remnant of medieval music. All right, so this reaches the end of the Harping Light. And as I mentioned, all of this information will be linked in this episode. You want to further read on, it's feel free to read that link. And also, you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to either email me or find me on social media. I would greatly appreciate the feedback, and I appreciate all you listeners out there. Thank you so much. All right. Take care, and bye-bye now.